What is going on, everybody? Sorry, I am late today. I accidentally put the podcast on the wrong YouTube channel. I don't know what the heck I was doing with all that, but anyway, welcome to the Just Gonna Say It podcast on Dylan Talks Tone on the correct channel where we're supposed to be. And then I got a phone call. It was just a weird day. Anyway, just want to let everybody know this is an ad-free podcast. We turn the ads on afterwards, so. If you want to support the channel with a super chat or with a like or a subscribe or just a watch with some screen time, just some watch time, that'd be cool too. Thank you so much for being here. And today we're going to talk about why I think it's important that you save up for the good gear. And this isn't where you think it's going. This isn't going where you think it's going. This is something a little bit different. A couple things I want to tell you about. Our product drops on Saturdays. We're doing these limited run product drops with a little bit of merch, but mostly pickups. We've got some really cool pickups that got dropped last week that we've never made before. We've got a couple of pickups, one pickup that we've never made before, and one that we used to make like 11 years ago and haven't made it in a very long time. So I think you're going to dig that. That's going to be pretty awesome. Clear Telecaster pickups. It's something that I used to do, and to tell you the truth, I never really liked how they turned out before. I liked them, but these are way better now that I can control everything with the laser and stuff. So this is super, super cool. So I think you are going to dig the drops that are coming out this weekend. We've got a new hat. I think we've got a new shirt, and we've got 2 new pickups coming out this Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Also, if you hear that noise in the background, it's because my landscaper couldn't come yesterday and is here now. So we're just going to have to deal with it for a few more minutes as he blows off the sidewalk outside. Let's see, a couple other things. I guess that's really it. Okay. So, why do we want to talk about this whole thing about making sure you save up for the stuff that you really need and that you really want? I mean, we could obviously we could just say cool guitars are better than guitars that aren't cool, but that's not what we're talking about. This conversation actually started, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it as we continue. This conversation started about tools, actually. You are probably well aware on this channel by now, after years and years, we do not spend a whole lot of time in the real DIY space. What I mean by that is like, well, I'll just tell you what the conversation, how the conversation started. When we showed how to make a pickup, okay, and we used a CNC winder and we used a Mojo tone winder, a couple of different videos, right? And we were showing you how to do that. Well, those machines aren't cheap, right? So the manual tone winder, pickup winder, I think is like $600. The Mojo tone one is like $550-ish, something like that. The CNC one's like $1,300. So they're not cheap, right? And so somebody was like, this is great, but you need to do a video. This is what I always love when people tell me I need to do things. You need to do a video where you make something cheap and easy and almost free for those of us that can't afford a $500 winder. Like out of a sewing machine or something. And I'm like, well, it's not really what we do. That's not really the point of this channel. That's not really in my brain, right? I like to do things right. And I like to do things where it encourages quality and where it encourages, where it encourages the hobby along. Like it actually moves the hobby along. And when you spend a lot of time trying to figure out the way to do it the most cheap way possible, there's a couple things that suffer there. One is you end up in compromising in your product because your product many times, I'm not saying every time, many times, will not come out the way it comes out when you use the right tools. Okay. When you use quality tools. The other thing is that it compromises the learning opportunity. So if you build a pickup winder out of a drill, or you build a pickup winder out of a fishing reel, or you build a pickup winder out of a sewing machine, or you use files for your nut that are welding tip cleaners, not only the experience and the result, but the learning opportunity will be compromised. Because let's take making a nut, for example. A lot of folks are real scared of making a nut. Why? Because they're worried that they're going to go too far. They're worried that they're going to grind it down too far. They're worried that they're going to do something wrong, and then all of a sudden they're going to have to replace their nut. Well, how do you get better at that? Two things. Repetition, but repetition of what? The feel and the motion and the action of that. So if you use the right tool and you learn with the right tool, then you will have a better result. You will understand how to do it and you will complete the task and you'll have a satisfactory result. If you do not use the right tool, the problem is that not only will you have a harder time learning it, you will also learn it wrong, because then you get the right tool and you have to learn it again. You completely have to start over with, you get the kind of the idea, but the weight of the thing, the action of the thing, how gritty it is, what the tooth count is, all that kind of stuff, the speed, all those things will completely change and you have to start all over again. When you wind a pickup, it's the same thing. If you use a sewing machine, now the first machine I ever built it out of a sewing machine. I only wound 2 pickups with it before I bought a machine. I was like, I will never get the result that I want to get out of this. I understand many folks really enjoy the vertical manufacturing process, like as the hobby, right? So there's a lot of folks that'll be like, okay, I want to make the tool, then I want to make the thing that I use the tool for, right? So I want to build the pickup winder, then I want to build the pickups, then I want to build the jigs for the guitar building, and then I want to build the guitar. And now I can say that I completely vertically built this. I built all the tools that do it, and that's really neat. And the folks that do that, it's very cool. That's very, very cool. I think that's neat. The thing is that many times you can tell that the end result is homemade, because the standardization of the tool is not the standard that everybody else uses. And so you can just tell that the thing is homemade. So it does reflect in the result. It also reflects in the learning experience. And so that's why on this channel, we don't do that stuff. I don't want to show people how to do stuff wrong. Now, if you watch this channel and you say, I don't agree with how you X or Y, set intonation or whatever, like that, I get that. Like there's many, many, many ways to skin a cat, right? However, if I don't use the correct tools to show somebody, or if I don't, if I show you a shortcut, that's not really showing you. And so I think it's really important for those of us that are doing this, not even in the teaching capacity, but even in all of us who do it on a daily basis, that you use the right stuff, that you use the right tools, that you use quality tools so that you can learn it correctly if you really want to learn it. My question to folks who are always like, I want to know the cheapest way to do it. My question always is, why are you here? Do you like this? Do you like playing guitar? Do you like repairing your guitar? Is this a hobby that you enjoy? Then why are you on the quest to find the cheapest way to do everything? Don't you want the best result for the budget that you have available? Now, it's possible that you don't have a budget that allows for a $500 pickup winder. I totally get that. However, it also can be said that there are certain hobbies, there are certain interests that have an entry point that is too high for some. End of story. I have some hobbies that I have had to scale back because the entry point of those hobbies isn't too high and I cannot afford to do them. So I just don't do them. I'd like to have a track car, but it's just too much money. I can't do it. Could I go get a 1978 Volkswagen Golf and pour a bunch of money into it and take it to autocross and kind of have some fun? I guess. Yeah, I could. But it's not what I want. What is the end result that you want? Do you want a good guitar that plays really well, that you can really enjoy, that inspires you to play? Then think about the investment that goes into that sort of thing, and try over time to make that investment. Because I think a lot of folks lose the fact that we're not buying a thing. Okay. Somebody made a comment on my Facebook post the other day, and I really appreciated it. It was I made an Epiphone Gibson joke, which apparently people don't like to joke about that very much, but I think it's funny. And basically they were saying audiophiles who have many $1,000 stereos and many $1,000 speakers and many $1,000 speaker cables and whatever, they listen to music to figure out how good their gear is. Guitar players don't do that. It's like they spend more time looking at the gear itself than looking at the result of the gear. So audiophiles look at how it sounds. If it doesn't sound good, then they make a change. But the opposite seems to be true with guitar folks. It's like they have to buy the gear. You're not buying a piece of gear per se. You're buying an experience, and you're investing in yourself. Like this is we had this whole conversation last week about tools, people using it as a tool versus people that collect them versus, right? Even the folks that say, which I think most of them are lying or are not completely honest with themselves, who say this is a tool, this is a tool, this is a tool. It's only, I don't care what color it is, whatever. That's not really true. Because if it didn't play very well, if you didn't like something about it, you would make a change. So you have to connect with it somehow. So it's not just a screwdriver, right? It's more complicated than that. There is a connection that you have to make with the instrument. Therefore, when you are buying an instrument, when you are buying a tool to work on your instruments, you are not only investing in that tool, spending money on a piece of some fret files or some nut files or a Z file or a pickup winder, but you're investing in yourself because you're teaching yourself a skill. You are forwarding this entire thing, playing guitar, that is making you a better person. You are learning how to play music. You are enjoying it, unless your purpose is to be a troll. If your purpose is to be a troll, then it's kind of a sad existence, actually. But there are those folks, I suppose. But most of us are trying to invest in ourselves. We're trying to learn a thing, right? And so we're trying to learn a thing, and it makes us a different person. When you learn a thing, then you're not the person you were yesterday before you knew that thing. You have a new thing that you know. Then tomorrow, after you tried a couple of times, now you have some experience and you are a different person. So you have invested in yourself. So when you buy a guitar, you're investing in yourself. When you buy a tool, you're investing in yourself, not just buying the tool. So why would you cheap out on yourself when the entire purpose of this whole thing we're doing is to actually enjoy it? It's to actually enjoy it. And I know that people get really hung up on budget, and they really get, well, I can't afford what you can afford. I couldn't either. I got my first nice, I did not get my first brand new guitar I don't tell people how old I am, but I'll tell you that I've been playing for 40 years. I did not get my first brand new guitar until 5 years after I started this YouTube channel. I didn't get my first brand new guitar until then. So, I mean, that's insane, right? So we're all kind of in the same boat, right? We all start. I don't like saying we start at the same place because we don't, but that's a whole nother sociological issue we don't want to get into today. However, you understand what I'm saying. We all start with nothing, right? And we all start with, oh, I need to save up for my first guitar. I need to save up for my next guitar. I need to save whatever. But it's not a possession that you are getting to serve. It serves more of a purpose. I hope. That is why my question is, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you playing guitar? Why are you buying new strings? Why are you just trying to decide what strings to use? Why are you deciding what picks to use? Because you want to be a better person. That's what it is. You want to be better. Unless you're a moron and you just want to be better than your friend, because you're a jerk. But other than that, which, I mean, there's those people out there, which is fine. I just think making that investment in yourself is something that you got to think about. Let's see. We got a super chat. For ad-free, cheaping out usually costs more in the end. I build bases and can easily drop $100 to $300 on quality woods. Quality parts and tools are a must. Otherwise, the wood and time are wasted. That is really true. I 100% agree with you, Sunbase. I think it's a hard reality for some folks to understand the time investment. It's just the time investment that it takes to learn a thing. And there's not very many areas where you can buy experience, right? Well, you can never buy experience. There's some cheat codes, like you can, there's, even in Guitar Gear stuff, I think about it with cars and pistols and, I've got a pistol up here that I automatically just shoot better because it's so good, right? There are cars that I've driven that I'm not any different from this car to this car in 15 minutes, but I can drive this one faster. I can do a better lap time. Or motorcycle. There are certain bikes that I've been on that I'm like, I'm faster on this. So you can buy some cheat codes, I guess, but it's not real. It's not real. Usually you have to have the skill behind it, and then you can exploit what you're given, right? Like what the tool that you have. But you still have to have some experience. And so investing in yourself, I think, is super, super important. Hello, Dylan. I hope you're doing well. Did you receive my email? Oh, I did. Those pickups are in process. It's really cool. They are backed up over there, but I'm on it. He's talking about the Cerakote stuff. Quality gear pays in long-term reliability and use. It only costs you once. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. And the reason I'm bringing it up is not to change anybody's mind. If you want 17 Harley Bentons, that's totally fine. I have no problem with it. I think it's cool that you like a thing that much that you would do that. I have no issues with it. The only reason I bring it up is a lot of folks give me a hard time on this channel for not, there's a lot of channels. So let me just say this first. There's a lot of channels that concentrate, that focus on all these Amazon guitars, all these Chinese knockoffs of knockoffs, like all this stuff. Is this a good guitar? What they're doing, they're doing it for clicks. They're doing it for affiliate dollars because it's easy affiliate dollars. A $250 Amazon guitar is an easy affiliate dollar to make. I'm just telling you. It's a way easier affiliate dollar to make than a $3,000 Les Paul. Now, do you make more money on a $3,000 Les Paul? Yeah, but you only sell 2 of them a year, not 2 of them a day. Okay? So it's all about the affiliate dollars for a lot of those folks. And it's all about the fact that they're easy videos to make. And they are easy videos to gain conversation on. They're controversial without being controversial, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of folks that really like making that content, and they really focus on the cheapest. But we don't do that here. And the reason I don't, beyond the things that I just mentioned, I do not like promoting that frame of mind. I do not like promoting a race to the bottom. I do not like promoting it at all. I don't live it. First of all, that's not me. I like bougie stuff. Obviously. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's really cool. Also, I do it as a means to hopefully inspire folks to do more. We've all had, probably at some point, some fancy thing in some hobby on our wall as a poster as a kid. That's what this is. That's what this is. You want to see a cool guitar? I'm going to show you a cool guitar. I'm going to share something cool with you. And I hope it inspires you to do something cool. Now, I hope that when you see a $600 pickup winder or you see a $1,200 pickup winder, that what if you did watch that video and say, I can't afford a $1,200 pickup winder, but I could afford this $300 one. And then I could mod it to do this thing. And now I'm inspired to try something cool. That's the whole point, right? It's not that you have to buy the same stuff I have. I didn't actually buy that. They sent that to me to review. So I didn't even buy it. But that's the idea, is to inspire others to do cool stuff, right? That's what this is all about. It's all about inspiring other folks to enjoy what we do. And if you can take a piece, I don't know about you, but when I watch a video that is unobtainium to me, like a lot of times, I'll watch a firearms video with a $12,000 1911 or something, or I'll watch a video that there's a $3,500 knife, or I don't know. I was watching something the other day with a $5,000 fountain pen, and I'm like, holy crap, that's nuts. I don't know that I'd ever spend $5,000 on a fountain pen, even if I had the money. However, I wonder if mine feels, it made me like my own stuff more. It made me go write and be like, that inspired me to write something. That inspired me to use the things I already have. I don't need, and I don't really care about having a $5,000 fountain pen, but I have this one right here, and I picked it up, and it's, $36, and I went and wrote with it. That's what I hope. That's what we want. I watched a video about some fancy knife the other night that was like $5,000 or something. And I was like, that's a very similar knife steel to the one that I have. And I was like, oh, you know what? I need this thing sharpened. So I sat there and I watched some YouTube videos and I sharpened some knives and I enjoyed my hobby. I didn't have to have the $5,000, whatever it was. I did not envy it. I did not get pissed at somebody else who had it and I didn't. I didn't say this knife is just as good as that one, because it doesn't matter. I just really enjoyed it. It made me enjoy the hobby. It made me pull out my own stuff and be like, this is pretty cool. I kind of actually really like this. I just think those kind of things are super. I saw the winding video and I was like, hell no, I'm not that skilled. Even some simple solder work takes me a while and a couple of burns, but here's the thing though. You can learn it. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not that you're not skilled. It's just that you never tried it. The only difference between, and I always say this, the only difference between me and you is that I have a camera and I hit record 1,500, 2,000 times. That's the only difference. I started out not knowing anything about this too. Everybody starts out not knowing anything about this. And, everybody starts out breaking wire a bunch of times. Everybody starts out not skilled. Everyone starts out not skilled. So I hope that you try it. How about for modding platforms and learning to work on stuff? I don't want to learn fretwork on $1,000 guitar. So, I suppose you could do that. You could buy a cheap guitar and you could do fretwork on it. The thing is what I would hope is that over time you would understand that it's not that scary. You won't. Okay, and let's talk about this. If you buy Amazon tools to do fretwork on your guitar, you can and very likely will ruin it. If you spend $120 on a Z file from StewMac, link in the description, you will not if you follow the directions. That is a classic example of if you buy the right tool, learn from the right person, and follow the directions, investing in it instead of cheaping out on it, then you will be able to learn on your guitar and not ruin it. That is really true. That's 100% true. Unless you're an absolute mashed potato head, you can use a Z file and not goof up your guitar. But they're $130 or $120 or whatever they cost. So what is it? Is it I have to take the risk? I have to cheap out on tools and then buy another $200 guitar and ruin a couple of necks? Or do I buy the right tool, watch the right content, and that might not even be me, that might be somebody else. I'm not saying about the content. I'm just saying this is a great example of investing in yourself properly, and then it'll be easy. Dude, I can do a fret level and crown on a guitar with proper StewMac tools, besides buffing, in about 15 minutes. It ain't that hard. So it takes me about 10 minutes. Let's see. Let me think about this. Maybe a little longer. It takes me about 10 minutes to finish fret ends. Now we're talking on an already done guitar, right? So let's say, in fact, I'm going to do it in a couple of weeks. I actually have a neck coming tomorrow. So I've got a video coming out where we're going to do all this stuff. So I'm going to have to dress the fret ends on an already made neck. So this is not making a new neck with new frets. Okay. So this is just you have a Fender Stratocaster that's all dried out and it's driving you crazy and it's not right and it's not level and it's whatever, but you want to make it good. So you're going to do some fretwork to make it nice. So it probably takes me about 15 minutes to dress all the fret ends with the StewMac file. It'll take me about 5 minutes to level it. And then it'll take me about 5 to 10 minutes, depending, to crown it. And then buff it. Half hour tops. And it won't get screwed up because you use the right tools. So investment in the right stuff is the way to go. Dylan, have you ever heard of DGN custom guitars? I have not. Are signature guitars worth the extra cash? It depends on how much you like the guitar. I have tons of signature guitars and I love every one of them. But it's because I love the guitar. Here's the thing. The is it worth it question is kind of a dumb question. Anything is worth what you personally are willing to pay for it to you. The only problem, and it's real bad in the guitar community, is that other people are arrogant enough to think that their opinion about somebody else's gear matters. That's the only problem with the worth conversation. Is a Gibson Les Paul worth it? Is it worth it to spend an extra $300 for the Slash one over the Gibson one? Yeah, for me it was, because the neck profile is awesome, and I wanted those pickups that came in it, and I wanted the finish. And it was called The November Rain, and that's Leslie's favorite song. So was it worth a few $100 to me? Absolutely. Is it worth it to you? I don't care, honestly. Like, if you don't think it's worth it, I kind of don't care, because it's worth it to me. The conversation between people should not be, is the guitar worth it? If you think it's worth it, buy it, and then tell me why you bought it. Tell me the story, right? Like, tell me the story about what made that worth it to you. If I disagree with you, it's none of my business. It wasn't my money. I'm not going to be so arrogant to assume that I should have a feeling about how you spent your money. That doesn't make sense. So if you think that spending an extra few $100, what are they, $2,800 for a Silver Sky is worth it, then by all means do it. Now, if you ask me, is it a good guitar? Based on the things that I know about what good guitars are, then I can answer that question. Is it worth it is a dumb question, and I'm not answering it anymore. I want to know why you think something is worth it, not why it's not worth it. I want to know why you think it's worth it. Doesn't matter. I got a new iPhone. Oh yeah? What drew you to that conclusion and why? Well, because I have this other computer and it works together and I like AirDrop and etc. and this and this and this and this. I do not want to hear because I think Androids are stupid. Although I kind of do. I don't actually. I used to have a Samsung. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about Epiphone versus Gibson. I don't care about Tonewood. I don't care about what things are worth. I don't care about any of it. What I want to know is, if you have this thing, what drew you to it? What moved you to make that purchase? And if you say, somebody on a forum told me to buy it, we probably won't be friends. Let's see. Yeah, I really don't like, I really don't like the art, is it worth it question. Because that's value is an individual thing, you know? And value can change, you know? It can really, is it worth it to a person? Will it, just because it's worth it to a person who cannot or does not yet understand. See, here's the other thing, and this is going to get completely like ideological here, but life being a journey and everything always constantly changing for every individual. Okay. This is literally how I think about life. Then there is no wrong answer tomorrow, because you're not there yet. So if today you think, you know what, I don't like these strings, between today and tomorrow, you could learn something and go, I'm curious. Ooh, I kind of do like those strings. Don't be frozen in time by your opinion about something. Constantly changing opinions are amazing. That means you're learning stuff. So, so you take a person who just learned to play guitar yesterday, and is it worth it for him to spend $2,800 on a Silver Sky or get the 850 SE one? If he wants it, then it's worth it to him. You know, I'm not going to be so arrogant to say that he shouldn't buy the expensive guitar because he's not experienced. That's a jerk thing to say. you know? So, I mean, I just think that and the other thing too is that we change. So as we continue to learn something, as we continue to get more refined, not everybody can tell the difference between, 6150s and 6505 frets. I can, but not everybody can. So does it really matter? Do you have to read spec sheets all day long in Facebook groups before you go buy a friggin' made in Mexico Strat? Not really. Just go buy it. Be adaptable, enjoy it, go buy it. Buy it because you like the color, buy it because, right? And then as you play that guitar, you may have more experience and enjoy something different. You might be like, you know what? I want to try a 7 1/4 radius. So I'm going to go buy an American Vintage too, and then whatever, but it's all growth. You're constantly moving. Things are constantly moving. I think in this hobby, people freeze people in their opinions too much. Well, you said blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, dude, that was like 10 years ago. Like, why did you sell that guitar? I mean, that video was 8 years ago, dude. I see a lot of talk about replacing Gibson bridges, bushings with the ABR ones. I'd love to see you do an episode on those. I won't, and I'll tell you why. Don't play the freaking guitar. There are, and this is my opinion, but there are very few hardware changes, like wholesale hardware changes in 2024 that need to be made on any guitar. Unless it's a very, very inexpensive guitar, like let's say a classic vibe or cheaper Jazzmaster. Those trims and bridges can be a little wonky and loose, and you kind of have to deal with them. Cheap Bigsbys, any kind of reproduction Bigsby that is not the real thing, those can be a little wiggly and a little problematic. But when it comes to a guitar that was designed a certain way and it was made to be that way, and somebody with a pocket protector who gets paid a lot more than you do to design that guitar, leave it alone. Some ding dong, BMW Ricer 457 in some group somewhere telling you that you need to replace your bridge because his bent one time. You don't know the conclusion. You don't know the reason it happened. You don't know that, he was running 14 gauge strings and he dropped it off his bed. So don't worry about that stuff. I think there's very little hardware, and there's fun stuff to do. If you have a Floyd and you want to put like titanium parts in it and make it look all cool and do all that stuff, it's great. I think it's awesome. Replacing pickups, obviously, it's how I make a living. I think it's cool. I think that everybody should explore stuff, but don't take it as I have to solve this problem because these things are all crap. Because they're not. They're not. And I know people will say, well, if you don't do it this way, then the bridge is going to bend and all this stuff. That's all setup stuff. Learn to properly set your guitar up and it'll work. It will work. Van Shank Guitars, Super Chat. Sorry, I don't know if I actually missed this before. Thanks for the therapy session. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Oh, hang on. We got another one. I made 2 stoner. Kyle says he made 2 stoner metal albums with the Enduros. Dude, that's sick. Awesome. Thank you for the super chat, and thanks for using my pickups and that stuff. People like that you said blah, blah, blah about 6 years ago, like people can't change their minds. Yeah, that's really what happens. So you shouldn't get stuck in that, because I think that's what happens. I think people are just like, well, I learned this thing, so now I have to stick with this thing that I learned. No, learn something else. That's what I say. I'm just so tired of all the value stuff. What's interesting is, it seems like, so it seems like, and I'm just going to say this. The folks that want to believe that their less expensive guitar is just as good as or better than a Gibson or whatever are the ones that make the most noise. I don't get that. Just be happy with what you have. I'm happy with what you have. I think it's great because it probably needs new pickups. So I'm happy with what you have. I think they're cool. Do I have one? No. I have a Gibson, but that doesn't make your guitar worse. You just have one and I have one, something different. And then the folks that are like, well, you're stupid for spending that much money. Yeah. You're an arrogant jerk to think that that matters, or that that's some sort of opinion that should be listened to for any reason whatsoever. You know? It's called evolving. That's right. Yeah. No, I think this stuff is fun to talk about because it just moves the whole hobby forward when you are thinking about it from a perspective of, if I'm going to play guitar, then I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to make an investment in myself. I'm going to make an investment in the tools. I'm going to make an investment in the instruments. I'm going to make this is an investment in me. Okay, so my Martin D28 was $3,300? I think that's what they cost now. 32, something like that. But I'm going to have that guitar for foreseeably the rest of my life. So if you amortize that out, it's pretty cheap fun, really. Right? How many days do you have left in your life? As long as you hope that there's a bunch, then, I mean, it's not really that expensive. Not to mention, you're going to pass it down to your children. It's going to be a family heirloom forever. A Harley Benton ain't going to do that. Right? So those are the kinds of things that you're investing in yourself, and you're investing in everything, not just the piece itself. I know it's a little shorter today. We got to get out of here because it's 5:00. And I got to usually get out of here about 5:00. I want to tell everybody we do have a couple things left from last week's drop. There's one Sasquatch hat left, and I think there's one of the humbuckers left, and a couple sets of the P90s left. So if you want that stuff, run over to the website and pick them up. And then we've got new stuff coming out on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time.